darlings. Hello, everyone.
Can we go back?
Welcome. Can we go back?
Can we go back to that? I was like,
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like back in time. I was like, this is live, right? Okay. Welcome to AngularAir. Hi, I'm your impromptu host, Alyssa Nichol, and today with me I have the beautiful Mike. Nope. I can't. He's next to me. I'm not even going to try to point. Mike, raise your hand so people can see you.
hello.
Don't show off your pointing skills.
Well, I'll tell you what I do. I look at my screen and I see either a blank wall or my bookshelf. And that's how I know which direction I need to point.
Oh, that's clever.
I just have blackness. So.
And you're on wall side. So you're
on wall side. That is clever.
That's a good trick. Windows side. Windows
side.
Got it.
Mm-hmm. And today with us we have at CoderCatDev. Hello, darling. I was like,
Hello.
What is his like? I was trying to prep the tweet, and I was like looking everywhere. I was like, what is his handle? I feel so dumb.
It's all good. I mean, I feel like I've transitioned a million times between CodingCatDev, PerfectDev, CoderCatDev. We have all the things floating around.
Perfect Dev. I like that.
It was like,
come on, Mike. Alyssa was just on not that long ago.
It was like this, like Perfect Dev, though, right? Like you got to have the like.
Oh, cat theme. Okay, because I was thinking PER, and I'm like the opposite of that.
That's always the joke. You don't have to be perfect, but you have to be perfect.
We've got 4 cats roaming around the house, so I qualify.
Like any black cats? We could be friends.
Dark gray and another dark caramel color.
I feel like a little bit of black chalk could fix this situation. Just chalk up your cat.
I think my wife told me once all black cats are brown cats technically. So.
Just like really dark brown.
I'm still gonna call the black cat.
Same.
Black cats always give me the fall vibes, which I'm so far from right now. We're like barely entering summer, but it's good. It's good. The vibes. Well,
have you guys been checking out this new like profile pic app that's floating around all over the place?
I need to know what you're talking about.
Make your face really cool looking. Maybe we should bring that
up. I need some help.
I just made one with my cat and myself.
Oh, do you want to show us? Can you show us? I want to see it.
Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Okay.
I hope. I got a little addicted while I was watching basketball last night. I made maybe one too many.
Are you ready to share? I'm going to share your screen. Yeah. I'm doing it. I did it.
We can try.
We can try. I can take it down if you haven't found it yet.
Oh, there it is.
Yes. I want to see. Oh, that is the. Oh, it's like the. What are these vibes? It's like half
it's like
retro, half.
Isn't that weird?
I love it so. How did you? You said you generated it though.
Yeah, you go new profile pic is it's an app, and then like there's this crazy thread. Like you've seen all these people. Look at this. Like that's the original. That's what it makes instantly. It's crazy.
Wow, I love that. That is like I love it. I think we should always start with a pic. And now I need to go do it. Actually, I kind of really want one of Mike, but like in your dancing outfit, Mike, please.
Oh, you don't even know about my dancing outfit.
I've seen one dancing outfit. I'm sure you have many.
Did I show you last week?
For those of you who don't know, Mike is going to be in his daughter's recital, and he is taking dance lessons, and he is going to do a live dance off for all of us. I'm going to book him on AngularAir. Yes, that just happened. Mike is looking terrified.
I am.
It's fine. It's fine.
I've just been voluntold.
That's amazing.
Oh, well, Alex, I'm so excited to have you on AngularAirs today. Sorry Justin couldn't make it. He is actually away also at a daughter dance thing. So that's, I think, apparently a theme that I need to get into. But tell us what we're talking about today.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen me before, I'm part of these 2 cats, Perfect Dev and CodingCatDev. I'm founder of each, but I also have recently started at Builder.io as a developer advocate and kind of promoting their products. So very new to this. So if we have some hiccups through this little demo fun, forgive me. It's still coming to me.
Are you comfortable working at a place that does not have a cat theme?
It's okay. Yeah, I wish we
Okay.
would come up with like what's the word I'm looking for? Like a builder person that's a cat, like AJ, like that
Like a
full
mascot
person
or
with
logo.
like a hammer. I keep suggesting like a cat with a hammer, and that's our new like mascot. I don't know. It's a thing. It's out there
Yeah,
still.
yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So Builder, it's a visual editor, and we have a new term that I keep forgetting that I should remember, but it's a visual development platform. That's our new. We've really landed on it finally because it's really hard to describe. It's a CMS, a visual editor. You can store images, like the whole gambit all at once, and it's kind of wild. And as we go through it, like definitely ask questions. People online, if you have questions, like throw them at me. I'll do my best to hopefully answer them, and we'll have a little fun with this. Sound good?
I'm so
Sounds perfect.
excited.
Sweet. Okay, at the kind of core of everything is our visual editor, but your folks know Angular, so we could probably start there a little bit first. So we just have kind of our normal Angular app that's over here. And again, I haven't written Angular in like 4 years now, so it took me a minute. This whole Next.js thing has gone crazy, so I think it's
Hey,
taking over the world.
we can get through it together.
So basically at the top level here, I just have a easy route setup that just catches everything. So I do have like a specific route too, just in case like people want to check that out. But basically it's just a open generic route at the top. And I'll show you like how we can create a bunch of pages in Builder that actually use that route. And then we'll talk about like registering custom components. And that's the part I hope blows your mind, but we'll see.
Okay, so real quick, just to be
Yep.
clear, you said we're going to have a single Angular route, which I see you have there on line 6, and you said that Builder is going to host multiple routes on that single Angular route.
So we'll create multiple pages that end up using that route. Yep.
Okay.
Cool. So yeah, basically that's kind of the routing side, and the only component that we really need on this side is our builder component that just says, hey, we're going to use this model type of page for our builder component, and that's what loads this entire thing. Like we don't need any other magic behind the scenes. There's no other Angular written in this whole thing. So here we go.
So the builder component you have there,
Yep.
That's coming from a builder package that's been installed and configured at the app module?
Great question. So that is coming out of our Angular SDK for Builder. So if I can find app Builder somewhere.
22?
Thank you.
Yep.
My eyes are failing me.
What are you, Hawkeyes?
Well, my alphabet is. I was like A, B, there it is. So yeah, we have SDKs for all the popular frameworks. We have an open source system that's called Mitosis, which I just wrote a blog about. We can throw that somewhere. But basically, we take our JSON that we create and we can use it in every framework. So for the most part, you can always add your own. But Solid.js, but React, Angular, Vue, you name it. We've got SDK that can kind of parse that and use it within the system. So at this point, the part that I'm probably trying to get to, here's our home page that we have laid out in Builder. So at this point, you noticed over here on this, it's the only component, but this is all laid out within the Builder system. And it's actually previewing our page at this point. So I'm just serving this locally, but if I go back up to the top level, you'll see this is our final page that's out here. But this entire thing is served out of Builder. So if I wanted to place just a new text block in and say, hello world, it's already showing me what that page is live. Like it's using that server in there and parsing that JSON to get that. And then if I publish that update, we can refresh over here. There's a couple CDNs it's behind, so it takes a couple of refreshes, but you'll see immediately comes back out. So that's kind of the long and short of kind of what Builder does at the core. Like that's the easiest, most simple piece to that. Now, each one of these pages that I have set up too, so like our alert page, we can take a look at. That is also a page that's over here, and it understands what the URL parameters are. So this page URL right here is actually set up in a URL path. The cool part about this like targeting though, you can get crazy advanced with this. And I tried, this is the part of this I was like, I didn't have time to do this.
Doing it live.
I don't even know if I can do it live. That's the hard part. But like basically if you have like UTM parameters and you're like shipping someone into your like homepage from Twitter or from a email, let's say, and you have a site hosted with products or something like that, and you say, I want to sell cats today, right, to this person. When they hit that page with that UTM parameter, you can pick that up and say, okay, the first page that they get to is going to be cats. And then from there on out, like we can show more personalization as we go too. So it's not only like one page, but it's also that personalization piece that kind of adds on top of that. Okay, so this is the part I hope blows your mind a little bit. We'll see. So we do have some components that I am using directly within this builder area. So even though this is the alerts page, I have some custom components I created, and I can put in this NGB alert right at the bottom there. That is actually an Angular component that I just dropped in, not a generic like div with text or anything like that. And the way we create that is over in our components over here. And you'll have to forgive me. I think we talked about this on Perfect Dev, but I did the whole singular component, not modularized, not templates. So it's all in one over here.
That's all good.
So you'll see here, basically we have just a standard component that's listed out. It's an alert component that we have, and you'll notice here we have some inputs coming into it. So we have some defaults that are set. And I should preface this whole thing with our front page probably here. This is all done with ng Bootstrap because we had a request. So I kind of took off with the request and said, hey, yeah, I can show you that. So this is all ng Bootstrap too. So after that, the kind of piece that's cool here is we use this thing called Builder Block to be able to register in the Builder Visual Editor that component. So now I can utilize that within Builder drag and drop tools, and I can drop any of those in. The cool part is I can also say, oh yeah, and like give me those inputs that you just said were allowed in your component too. So up at this point here where these inputs are coming in, I can actually click on this over in Builder now and go to this type. There we go. So I can switch these out for like an info and just update these live. And that becomes what your component's inputs are. I can type in like yo for my alert, and you can do AngularAir. That's all live previewing that entire component that we have, and we're just utilizing Angular's components within a drag and drop system that you can then produce a whole page out of. So the idea here is like, as a developer, we're always kind of working on hard problems and we want the difficult things to solve. Well, the idea is here reusability, right? Like if we can create these components and then your marketing team or whomever is using that Angular piece can take off and run with this, that's the perfect kind of setup. Like we'll keep working on the hard things. You guys pump out 1 million pages a day for marketing. Go ahead and use these components on it, and we'll update them in our design system as we need. And that's kind of like the glue to it all.
Speaking of glue, so this alert component that you have over here on the right is part of your local project.
Correct. Yeah.
How does the Builder.io site get awareness of that Angular component?
Yeah. Okay. So this is
because I get what you're saying. And I love that because it goes back to my idea as I think of as a component. And when I think component, I think like Lego blocks. Like I'm building these 2x2s and these 2x4s or the 1x6s, all these different Lego blocks that other people can take and piece together to build bigger things.
Absolutely.
Which is what you're talking about, of taking these smaller pieces that you're building and assembling them using Builder.
Yeah. So I'm sure you guys have talked atomic design. That's like the biggest philosophy that we're rolling with right now. So creating those Lego blocks, going from atoms to molecules and on up, right?
Yep.
So the magic here that's happening, this Builder block has this register piece. So basically when you're setting this up, you're saying, okay, I have this thing that's got this tag called NGB alert. Go ahead and register this on the builder side. Because I'm in an iframe, that is my app. So I'm serving in the middle over here where this UI is. This is my localhost 4200 application. So it actually knows what components are, but then I register it with Builder so that it shows up on this left side here in the Builder app. So the Builder app can then say, okay, I know what to do with this. I'll move this around. And the cool part with all of that, when you're taking a look at like the JSON that comes out, if I click this one and then look at the JSON, this block, this is probably really hard to see. Let me see if I can let me go full screen. Maybe that'll help a little. So this JSON is what's feeding back through our API into Angular. And that Angular block that I showed you guys before in the homepage, so let me just flip that over real quick. Oops. So this thing right here understands how to take this JSON and parse it out, and it says, "Oh, I know what you're talking about. I have this tag called builder NGB alert. I'll go ahead and display that component that is part of my system already." And it goes in and uses it. And it's also got like the options for all the inputs that are coming in. And on the React side, we have a few more like niceties with state. We can play around with state, like passing that back and forth. Angular, it's a little more tricky, so we have to do a few hacks here and there, but it's definitely possible. It's all JavaScript at the end of the day, right?
Yeah. So you create as a part of that component, you have the builder block section.
Yep.
That's what creates the JSON, which gets rendered, gets included as part of the DOM or as part of the JavaScript object in that iframe. The builder site is reaching into that iframe and saying, hey, give me this JSON stuff. And from there, it's able to populate the custom components on the left. And then builder can utilize that to be able to drag and drop those in different places.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I just want to be careful on one thing, that the JSON that's getting pushed out is actually going from Builder itself. So basically a CMS, if you think of it that way. So Builder's API. And when we see that on a page using this component, this Builder component at that top level, it says, go ahead and parse that JSON. So it's kind of a push kind of methodology. And then the register part of it is what tells Builder that it's available to even use.
Gotcha.
Hopefully that makes sense. Cool.
It does.
What do you think? Like that right there made me become a developer advocate at Builder. When I saw this and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I've struggled with so many marketing teams not being able to see their stuff. They're in a headless like CMS, like Contentful or something, trying to figure out where that ends up on a page. And all of a sudden, like, wait, I can use all my own components we've already built and they can drag and drop it. I was like, sweet.
For places that have teams of that size that are able to build the atoms and the molecules that you're talking about, and then not have to worry about the content that's going to be presented in them, or to use that for different pieces of functionality, is huge.
For sure. Yeah, it's big. I mean, we spent so much time at past companies I've worked for and consulted for on design systems that just go completely unused because the speed to market for content is so like, there's so much pressure behind that to like continuously like A/B test. So we have like A/B testing built into this as well. So if you hit that and you're whatever, you want to set up a different zone or a different set of people hitting that, you can do that too. And so just kind of thinking about all those ways that we could improve that speed to market, but also all the actual speed, the performance side of your site. So like we can build out static sites in Next.js. I haven't tried it with Universal, but we could probably do something on that side too to create it. So yeah, it's just amazingly powerful. And the other piece that we can fit into is, I'm just showing kind of mostly page level type stuff because it's at that top level. What we also have is a component that is just for like section based. So if I show this, it's just a different model type. that we can look at in Builder. So when we go back over here, instead of a full page type, if we were to add a new model, you can also create just a section of a page. So a lot of people will take their existing sites and say, okay, we can use Builder to build out like a shopping cart sidebar, and we'll use that for our components. And they just plug in Builder, and then they can create that section, and they can drag and drop wherever they want in just that section, and Builder will load it. So it's kind of powerful to fit into existing applications already, as well as greenfield. They work both ways.
And I see that other model of data. Is that a way of essentially injecting data into a component, one of our custom components, to basically
you can think of data as just Sanity.io, Contentful. It's just a normal CMS data layer. We can use that inside of our visual editor as well. So there's ways to kind of go about that too. I could probably, if we're, I think that's like the large show, but I'm happy to like hack away with you guys. So I think we could probably like set up a data model, go access that. Like I'll show you kind of some of the powers on the front end side of it too, if you want.
Yeah, real quick. So you have going back to like the page level model that you have up top there. You have a few events set up, so then when load happens, you're calling load on that component. Is that just internal setup for that component? And as the home component, need to implement those methods. It looks like we need to implement those.
So technically, those methods don't need anything, but I just kind of wanted to show them off for like what events that we actually get out of that. So where am I at? That's these top level events. If for some reason you get an error, it will actually show there. But here is that load event. Let me see if I can make this bigger. If you look at this closely enough, that data that I was talking about with the JSON, this is kind of, if you think about like almost the parsed JSON piece of that. So there's a string that sits in here with all of the HTML that's coming across. And that's what that load initiates. It says, hey, display this HTML within our builder block and any custom components that might need to get loaded. Did I answer your question, Mike, or no?
It does.
Okay.
But it also allows you the hooks that if you wanted to do something when a route change happens, or if you wanted to put some security or anything else that you wanted within there, you can definitely handle those events.
Bingo.
In a custom manner.
Yep, exactly. So I did promise at one point that we would have Adam on for Party Town. I attempted a Party Town load. So if you guys haven't heard about Party Town, it's this amazing other OSS project we're doing to offload third-party scripts. So you know when you have like your application that fires up kind of like this one, and you get the 100 on Lighthouse, and you're all excited. And then you add Google Analytics, and you add Intercom, and you add XYZ, like all these third-party applications, and it suddenly goes down to 50 and 25 and worse and worse. Party Town is actually this, and forgive me if I'm getting off on a tangent here. We can rewind it, but Party Town is this cool new I don't know if I even call it application, I guess a library that you can load up, and it will move all of those third-party scripts off of your main thread and actually move those over to a web worker and service worker. And it allows you still to use all the third-party scripts basically as they're written. And it's kind of incredible. I can show you how to set that up. I think I have a branch working for that if you guys want to see that.
I want to see.
I like the idea that you're not taxing the UI thread, and your application can function as intended, but you still get the other benefits of having those scripts on your page to be able to have those render and collect the analytical information that they need.
Yeah, it's pretty bananas too how we actually set up. We just did a pod on Perfect Dev with Adam and Hussein. We can throw that in the show notes or whatever if you want to check that out. I will try to show you if I can find it. This might make the most sense too. I'm just writing this blog out to push out for us, so a little sneak peek here, folks. So just to illustrate kind of what this looks like. So this is kind of that main thread we're talking about. I I totally lost you guys. I can't see your reaction.
Hello.
So this is that main thread that I'm kind of talking about. And usually you have like third-party scripts mixed with your normal code. So that's the blue and red. Sorry for color blindness. I apologize. But that's kind of the pipeline you're stuck with. So you get all that pressure, and that's why Lighthouse says, "Ugh, I'm trying to load all this stuff in once, and JavaScript's still like peaked out and all that stuff." So what it does is kind of moves this off, and this is the flow that you end up getting. So you have all your code, the main thread, and then it moves it off to these workers. The way that it does this is through this crazy, I don't know how Adam thought of this. We even talked about it for an hour, and I'm still like, I still don't know how you came up with this. It makes sense now, but I still don't know how you thought of it. So Adam basically had this great idea to take and move all of that Partytown script. Basically, any script tag, we just change it over to have the text Partytown on it, and I'll show you that it's a little bit lower. And what that does is allows you to execute any of those third parties as if it can act on the normal window. But it only has to go out and throw out any of the commands basically in text that a normal window would have, and it re-executes that on the window side. So it can talk back and forth between the UI, which is not typically allowed, back over to these the web worker API. So when you have this kind of floating through like this, the synchronous XHR piece, that's kind of the magical piece, because it's not great on your UI side. You don't want to do synchronous things, right? But it works great on the web worker side, because you'll make that call. It can pause in the web worker only, go send your Google like alert analytic piece off, and then it returns. And it doesn't interrupt the main thread a lot at that point, like normally would. It just kind of keeps chugging through, and only the web worker gets paused. So that's kind of the huge benefit.
Charlie was asking, I've seen this graphic somewhere. This blog's posted?
Yeah, so it's coming out. I guarantee you've seen this on Steve, our CEO's Twitter. Maybe we've retweeted it, but basically I'm putting all of our crazy thoughts around this together in one single post. So hopefully you have seen it. So basically what Partytown, that script piece, normally you would have like Google Analytics, the type would be JavaScript in here. You just replace that with text Partytown, and this is what you end up with. It just can execute as if it were normal then. So let me show you how to add that.
I'm curious how it knows what needs to function on the UI thread and what needs to happen in the worker.
Yeah, so maybe as we show this, it might make a little more sense. But basically, everything you load with that Partytown text. So let me pull that back over here real quick. So basically, anything you loaded with this, and it now has text Partytown instead, that will start to load only in that web worker. Like if you actually threw another script tag in here and it didn't have text Partytown, that will execute like normal. So there might be third-party libraries that just won't work yet in this, because we haven't caught some weird edge case. It is still in beta. Like this is not a perfect thing yet, but
right. So do you also then need to include, and I knew you were talking about going through this, but I'm assuming that in order to for the browser to understand what to do with that type, that there needs to be some small Partytown script that basically says, hey, go and find things that look like this and then kick them over to workers.
Yeah, exactly. And when it does look for that too, the cool part is some places it's not going to be supported. Like if this loads up in IE 11, it's going to go, ugh, like I can't deal with this. Replace all of those back to JavaScript and just load them, right? So there's definitely some little catches in there for sure. All right, let me see if I can get. Gotta find the bridge. I don't know why that won't work. Weird. Let's see here. Okay, so for the most part, what you can do, and you can follow the docs out on partytown.builder.io for all of this. I should have an Angular one now that I've kind of worked through it a little bit. We've had a couple hiccups and bugs that I'm trying to work through, but we'll add that to our integrations. If anyone's watching this and you're not an Angular fan, which would be weird, I think, on this show, but if you have a integration that you don't see out here, happy to take PRs. Like feel free, update the docs and load them on in. For the Angular side, I am working on this one currently. And what we have here is essentially in your index.html, there's just this script that we need to load, this partytown debug partytown JS script. The easiest way to do that is in our package.json. We will have, oh, Mike, your eyes are much better than mine.
I know that red. I'm like, I can't read anything.
I'm leaning back a little bit. I'm sorry.
Good. So we have builder.io/partytown that you can add as a npm package. And what's cool about that is you can just execute one command. I can't remember what it is, but it's like a copy command essentially. And what that'll do is drop this partytown directly in here. I think right now we have it dropping in at the top level. And it's public and then partytown, because I think most like Next.js and stuff goes to that public folder. All you have to do is drag that back down to source. Of course, in Angular, you need to update your angular.json file to include it. So that piece right there tells Angular, go ahead and load this. And then you get all of this nice partytown pieces all up and loaded. It's super tiny file. I can't remember. It's like 1K maybe. It's tiny, whatever it is. And then you're good to go. And so let me show you. Hopefully.
It's a lot lighter than any third-party JavaScript
exactly. Yeah, well said. I'm hoping.
Do you think there's things that like you shouldn't use this with? Like, are there any obvious like, hey, don't throw it on that? Like,
I'm sure there's going to be things that are just quirky and do crazy stuff on the window and the DOM that maybe it's, I shouldn't say too slow for, but maybe it's like interacting with it in a very odd way that's not covered. But we've tested it with a lot so far, like the core ones that people run into. Okay. I need to get some more examples out for like YouTube embeds and things like that are super common. We don't have those examples out, but I'm pretty sure it's going to work. We have some other embeds that are working pretty solid. So like I said, it's still beta, but it's out there. It's actually part of the Next.js has a third-party service worker now, and they're using Partytown for that. So it's pretty common. It's starting to make the rounds for sure.
Am I missing something? If you look at line 17, you have party toe.
That's probably why that won't work. Thank you. I was working on that before I jumped on.
Oh my God,
I'm not the best speller, but I know the town ends in an N.
I guarantee you're a better speller than I am, Mike.
Oh my gosh, Mike.
All right. So I think I should be getting a debug. I don't know why that's not. There we go. All right. So here we have Partytown set with the debugger on, so we can see a couple things that are happening. You can see that the Partytown web worker was initialized. It comes out here and it has it registered back on the normal window, so it's all sandboxed in. I cannot talk to the atomics part because I still don't understand atomics. I guarantee you Adam should come on and chat about it. He will tell you he really wishes all of this could go the atomics way. That's beyond me. I don't get it, but he's really hoping that all the browsers, I guess all the browsers support atomics, but not in the way he's looking for, something like that. Don't quote me on it.
So does each one of these scripts run in its own web worker, or is there a single web worker that all of these scripts would?
Great question. I do not know that answer. I should know that, but let me get back to you on that. If you want any show notes, let me write it down. Yeah. So basically, after you have all this, you'll end up seeing this script like normally would run as a traditional script, but you actually see it come out of the web worker itself because of this Partytown text right here. So it's not going to execute right away because it's not a JavaScript thing that will execute right away. It has to load up, and then you should see all these fun little gear icons if people aren't used to those. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger for everybody. So these little gear icons start to talk back and forth, and these are the web worker pieces that are going through. And you actually see, here's our GTM. Thanks, Mike, for fixing this little thing I couldn't figure out before I got on. Here's the GTM code actually running out of the web worker and loading. So it's not running on the main UI thread either. So that's like the, I don't know, what did we have, 2-minute version of Party Town? Like I said, we did an hour on it the other day, and it was pretty crazy to go through. But I think that's something that's definitely on the horizon for Angular, and we can like start to talk about it more. We're running out of like manpower or people power, sorry, to take care of the GitHub repos on these things. So we're trying to slowly like get to each one. Obviously, React and Next have taken over the world, so we're getting to those first. But if anyone's super passionate about Angular, I've had a few folks hit me up on Twitter saying, I put a PR in, and it's like, oh, I'll go review it. So if anyone's like, I want faster Angular sites, please jump in this this repo, and we'll start making them faster for you.
So I'm going to ask something, and you may not have it yet, but I'm guessing it's probably in the plans. Do you have anything that has any type of metrics of the benefits of using Party Town over not using Party Town? Either from a performance or from a lighthouse changes or case studies or anything like that?
So I would say we're working on the case study piece. I think if I go to performance insights, so we have this tool, builder.io/c/performance insights. I thought we had a link to it. If we do, I'll find it and send it to you guys. This can analyze sites and tell you kind of what Party Town will do for it. Oops. So I've been kind of always, I don't know why. I think I like shoes or something. My buddy got me shoes. I don't know if you guys can see them back here. They actually say Coding Cat. They're awesome.
Oh, that's
Nice.
awesome.
I gotta show you these.
Bring him over.
This is sweet, right?
Oh, that's so cool.
That is awesome.
I was like, thanks, dude. That's awesome. So with all that said, I'm going to do Nike.com. So this will actually run kind of like a lighthouse breakdown, and it does a few extra things. Steve, our CEO co-founder, wrote this as well, just because he's so passionate about like performance on the web, and that's one of the things that like we understand our place. We're not gonna like take over the web flows of the world or the Wix of the world. That's not really what we're aiming for. Like this is truly like we're trying to work within your frameworks to add this visual editor and all the things that surround it. That's why we have all the OSS projects going too. We also have Quick. I don't know if you guys have heard the Quick thing yet.
I've been playing with Quick a little bit.
Good.
Yeah, I thought you said something about that the other day, didn't you, Mike?
I did, yeah. I've been rather impressed with what I've seen, the direction that it's going, and the overall concept of Quick. And I know that that's still in its infancy as well.
Yeah,
but...
yeah, it's getting there. So for folks that are Angular fans, Mishko Hevery, who created Angular, essentially not created it fully, but had the idea, and then the team took off with it. He is now creating Quick as Builder's CTO. So he's doing the thing. Okay, so basically what we have here is kind of a breakdown of Nike.com, and they are getting some rocking scores, which most sites at this e-commerce level tend to have. And then we can break this down a little bit somewhere. Where is it? I don't think this one has it. So a lot of these will have, this is what Party Town could do for your score. And I am not seeing it on this one.
Well, so under reduced JavaScript, there's recommended projects Party Town. Do you think if you click to learn more, or that's not going to break it down?
I think it's going to go to our Party Town page. Yeah.
Party Town page. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I thought it did break this down. So I might have to check into that too. But we do have this tool. I know we're trying to check more and more things. I swear it's on one of these little optimize. Oh, wait, is this? That's just images optimized JS. Optimized JavaScript. Is this it? There it is. So this is actually showing you if we were to take Party Town and go through it, this is what it would look like. So this is the optimization of the JavaScript going from 16 to 80, essentially.
And those are basically hypothetical-ish lighthouse scores.
Right. I mean, it's difficult to like actually throw in. So we do our best to like kind of swap out. Here's your third-party scripts, and we throw them into PartyTown and then run it again. But it's no guarantee that the actual site is functioning fully. So that's the hypothetical piece. It does a decent job, but I think at one point we were showing previews for these as well. So there you go. There's your implement PartyTown at the bottom there. I thought we had a like preview the site. Maybe we took that down because it was looking so bad. It looks rough, like when your third-party scripts can't run on certain things. So what other projects can I show you? We have so much going on. It's ridiculous, but I definitely wanted to hit the Angular piece first, obviously.
Yeah. Mike, I guess, either of you, Alex, could answer, what is Quick? Have we done a show on that one? I don't know if we have. I don't think we've covered it.
I think we did talk to
Did we?
about Quick.
Has it been what?
I don't recall, but I know
yes,
the Quick
Zoom.
It has come a long way recently as well.
Yeah, so Quick, the interesting part about it is all of the frameworks today are basically loading your entire framework into the site to be able to load to a certain degree. I mean, there's hydration going on at some point. So all of those events that have to have listeners on it, like Angular has to hook into to be able to do that piece. Quick loads up, and again, it's this tiny little library that loads, and then everything after that you need, it can load on demand. So as you're like clicking different things, it will actually load that up in the background. So you're not throwing all the JavaScript directly at your page right away. You're just clicking what you need and loading what you need. And I think a lot of frameworks are seeing this. Like if you start to look at like React server components and things like that, where they're kind of serving it out. That's kind of the idea behind Quick. Mishko will dive in and say that's still not what Quick is doing, but there's a lot going on here for sure.
I've dove into it a little bit, and the idea that all the other frameworks, like you said, need to boot up and take control. Quick is based off of the DOM itself, so it doesn't necessarily need to re-render anything when it starts up. The global listeners in place so that when events happen, it can basically say, hey, these things need to re-render. I'll go get those pieces, and then I'll re-render those individual pieces.
The cool part is we are running Quick on our main page right now. So I can actually show you some of what that looks like.
Hot dog, your dev tools are big. I like it. It's great. But like, it was like instantly, the whole page was dev tools. I was like, ah! It's perfect.
Hey, I've done this video casting once or twice before. So you actually kind of start to see in here what's delivered to this page, even like down to the class level. You see these crazy like obfuscated, whatever term you use there, alphanumeric thing that appears. That's all because Quick's floating around, and that's how it knows what to go after and what to grab. I actually thought these were IDs, so I'm surprised to see the class thing. So maybe there's classes and the IDs, but essentially what's delivered as HTML has all of these, and that therefore Quick knows, hey, when this thing actually gets clicked, go ahead and like grab that JavaScript. But if you've ever seen like the cascading effect of like React or anything like that, the crazy part about Quick, and there's a demo on it, I'll shoot that over to you guys too. When you click a certain piece on Quick, only the things that need that state update are what fire, nothing else. So like no other like counter piece needs to refire to like make sure it renders again. It's just that singular part that's updating, and that's the magic behind Quick. Like, small, tiny library, HTML holds all the knowledge, and as you click through, it gets like more and more JavaScript as it goes. Mishko's like, that's not it, but that's how I think of it.
Thank you for that.
That is the general gist that I've gathered as well.
I try to go down to like my level of understanding, which is pretty rough compared to people that write frameworks for a living, and it usually works for people like that listen to me. So,
yeah,
I just go with it.
Because most people aren't writing their own frameworks.
Most people are not, Mishko.
But the nice thing that I experience when I've done experimented a little bit with Quick is
Yeah.
that those pieces of automatically loading the JavaScript for you and knowing which pieces, if I change in 2 places, need that,
Mm-hmm.
that's all handled automatically by the framework. It knows, hey, you're changing this piece. I need to go get these 2 pieces. I'll go do that for you. You don't have to write extra code to do
So
that.
how
The
much
framework
is
is
the
handling it.
actual startup time then? Like, are you literally just including it in your project and it handles that, or is there some configuration bits?
If you're just showing like normal things like HTML things, you will have 0.
What
Like
is not normal
The
things?
Quick needs its little piece, correct?
Quick
It's-
will still get delivered as JavaScript, but like if you think of just straight up HTML, right? You have an image tag, you have a div, like all those things that are layout, semantic HTML. Traditionally, like that's all you needed, right? That's a web page. The interactivity parts of the JavaScript side. So now, like, this is going to be a bad example because you can do it with CSS now. There's so much more you can do with the platform itself. This is why I keep sending out tweets like use the platform, use the platform. Anyways, so like a counter, like things you need state for. Like if you click a button and it increases the count, at that point, because that quick library is sitting there, it's got the listener hooked up to that ID at that point, and it said, oh, okay, I know I need to go execute on this thing. And so that's it. Like there's hardly anything going on. I just wanted to show this page off because these are all of the different OSS projects that we have going on too. So it's kind of crazy, all this stuff on top of Builder that we're handling all the time. Mitosis is kind of important for us because that JSON that we were talking about in the past, what this is actually delivering, that is not the page I thought to go to. Mitosis.builder. So this is a fiddle of kind of what mitosis does and how you use it. Mitosis is all JSX on this side, but it produces all of this stuff. So if you think of the visual editor that we're kind of moving around as if it were this left side creating this JSX, what comes out of it for Angular is this. But you can also produce that for every other framework because it breaks down JSON at first, and then there's a JSON parser or compiler, whatever you want to call it, that spits out the correct language out the other side. So you can get Svelte and Angular and React, and they come out as if they're like using the correct state management for those tools and everything else. Which I keep harping on somebody about this one. React can do this by itself, so I don't know why we keep using MobX as the default here, but that should be the default.
So on the left, the mitosis piece, that's Quick, correct?
Sorry, no. This is completely off of Quick now. Back to Builder. So this is another open source tool that, if you think of like Stencil, you familiar with that, how it creates web components?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Similar to that, like you're writing this language and it's creating something else out of it. We actually can create Stencil from this, as you can see, but that's kind of the idea behind this. You can do one language, JSX, or I don't know, not language, but you know what I mean, JSX, and it will create all of this stuff.
Wait, can we see all the, you've got Vue, React, Angular, what's the scrolly bits that I can't see? You got web components, good Lord.
Yeah.
It just keeps going, okay.
We need Liquid because Builder as well does Shopify pages. So Shopify uses the Liquid syntax. So you can go out to Shopify, add the application for Builder, and then you can build components in Builder to use in your Shopify pages. Nice. So that's a fun one as well.
Wow.
See, people gave me a hard time. Why did it take you like 4 months to understand all this stuff as a builder, as a dev advocate? I'm like, you try to understand all this.
Who is giving you a hard time? Who?
I'm not going to name names, but no, I'm not. All right, guys.
Is Quick intended to be one of the outputs as well from mitosis, or is that
I mean, eventually Quick will be able to. I'll say it that way, I think. But right now, there's no way. It's just changing so rapidly, and the API is changing. To be able to write that plugin that like creates the Quick side, it just wouldn't be worth it. We'd be updating it constantly.
Standardize the destination and then write the travel plans to get there.
Bingo, you got it. Yeah, it's funny because this is a big take on what Ryan Carniato was doing with Solid.js. It's kind of the same thing. Like you get JSX and it produces the correct stuff. And we're kind of seeing this trend. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but like with newer frameworks kind of being more like a compiler almost back to the JavaScript core instead of having the framework loaded up into the browser. So it's a very interesting place that we're sitting in at this point.
So before you go, you were showing the list of the different tools. We talked about Quick, Mitosis, and Builder and Partytown. There's one last one over there that looks interesting.
The
Can you give us
Figma
a
one?
30-second? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if I have any great examples. Let me take this off screen real quick. I don't know how much stuff I have to give away there.
I will do this and be big-faced again.
Perfect.
Our faces will be so big.
The only reason is I technically upflow through marketing, and they might kill me for showing our new branding and things up. So.
I have like so many times where I'm like, did I just show that password? Ooh, did I just show that phone number? Like, what am I doing? It's
What's
not
happening, right?
Yeah.
I wish I had good examples. You know what? Let me bring up my Coding Cat side and see if I can find one. Actually, hang on. This will work.
Even if you just talk through it, I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, I wanted to like right click. It might make more sense this way. I'm hoping.
Are you comfy, Mike? Are you comfy with that?
I'm good. Absolutely.
I think he's stretching for his dance party later.
I know.
I am.
Oh my gosh, I need that video, Mike.
I get to do partnering with my daughter.
I can't remember the darn Figma.
Even if you're not going to share it with us, Mike, you're gonna want that for like the future. Like you gotta like put a little like.
I won't have a video. I'm just not sure whether or not you will see the video.
I'm saying even for like the practices, you gotta like set your phone up in the corner. Nobody knows it's there. It's
We've got those, and this way we can practice on our own.
I gotcha.
Oh, I think this is it. Okay, so this is the actual. Yeah. Do it up. I think we're okay. So this is the actual Figma plugin community page. So we produced this out, and if you think about how Builder works, and maybe I didn't do a great job of showing it, but Builder is basically those blocks that we were talking about. It basically is the same as an auto layout in Figma. So it's not going to be a one-for-one, like you can't absolute position the world and like make this work. But for the most part, if you know how to create Figma the way that Builder wants it, you can use this plugin that is out there to take something like this, and you can create a page on like all of these, and we could create a page out of that, and those would become block level elements that are produced out into your page. So if you created everything in here in an auto layout and like positioned it correctly and things like that, and didn't use absolute positioning, which please people stop using absolute. Like we have mobile devices these days. So once you do that, you can actually run the plugin, and it works for the most part. I'm not going to say it's 100% perfect, but it does a pretty good job of pulling that directly into your Builder space, and then you can take off from there. And actually, a lot of people, the way that they're using this right now is that's how they start. So they'll like prototype, use this for their kind of positioning tool, and then they'll bring that into Builder and say, oh, this wasn't quite how we thought it would be. And then they can set it up. And the cool part in Builder is when you're over here, am I showing Builder? Yes. When you're over on this side and you're into like a page, like our home page, let's say, what you can do is change by device layout too. So since we're kind of using all of this Flexbox flow to it all, when I go down to my tablet mode, let's say like something like that might happen. Instead, if we flex this the other way, I've never done this demo. I hope it works. We can go like that, and we can actually pass that down. So this will automatically work now too. So you go from desktop to mobile, and it's easy as that. Like it just automatically comes into your browser. You don't have to do anything additional. I hope that justified a little bit. Play around with it. Let me know. We can do a whole thing on that too.
No, I definitely like it.
I know it. Mike was like, "Hey, you see that one that you didn't want to talk about? I want to talk about it."
No, it's fine. That's like the last one I learned.
There's a lot that we went over today, from
Yeah,
oh my gosh,
to
so
Figma to
much.
Quick to to mitosis.
Yeah, I was trying to keep it all Angular. I'm like, I don't know I can.
That's okay. We're Angular centric, but not exclusive Angular. So
That's fair. Awesome. Well, I don't know if Shorty's ever gonna be on a show that I can be on. So
I know.
he's making all these excuses all the time.
Oh, I know.
I'm giving him a pass anytime that it's kid related. Then hey, that's all good by me.
Yep, that's very well said.
Well, this has been amazing. Do you have any picks? I know I actually need you. You said you have some links. You can get them to me after the show if you want, and I can make sure they get in the description so people can have them. But anything else that you'd like to?
I do have a pick. Do you guys do picks too? Do you call them something? I never catch like the pick name.
We always call them picks. I don't know.
We call it perfect picks. So I don't know if there's.
We really need to work on our pun game. That's for sure.
We should.
So I actually picked this on mine, but I'm really checking this out. So this is called SVGator is the way that they pronounce it. I keep calling it SVG Gator because
Gator is
cool. Yeah. There's a gator in there somewhere.
SVGator, yeah.
So if you ever used like green stack for SVGs or any type of like programmatic SVG manipulation, like this guy that's floating around, this astronaut that's kind of going around here, that's all SVG based, and they can move it all like on hover or however you want to do it. So I'm starting a course on this for Coding Cat, how to use this as like kind of an intro to SVG animation. And then we're going to dive into like full on like green stack programmatic side to it and CSS based animation. So yeah, that's my pick, and I'll show off my GitHub page, which I used it with, just a simple sample. So AJ now flips around on my GitHub page using SVG animation and CSS.
Very cool.
I really like.
Yeah. So that's my pick.
Very cool. Mike, you got any?
I don't have anything cool.
Anything cool? I know. I'm
right there with you. Though, you guys referred to me as Hawkeye earlier, and I finally started watching Hawkeye on Disney Plus.
Oh, you like it?
I am enjoying.
That might become a Christmas classic for us. It's very like oriented around it.
It's on my queue list still too, so I'm even further behind than you. I think we're on the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel right now. So you guys watched it? No? Yes? Huh?
I've watched every Marvel thing ever, so it's pretty sweet. I just finished up Moon Knight a couple of weeks ago, or whenever it dropped. That is a mind bender for sure.
Moon Knight is a Disney Plus show.
Is it? Okay, I need to look this up.
Yeah, it's another Marvel piece.
I still need to watch No Way Home. I'm way behind.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely watch that before
Moon Knight. Right.
Yeah, but more so
Order Matters?
The new movie. Before the new, what's the new Doctor Strange?
Oh,
Doctor Strange. Yes.
Yeah. I will watch in order, but yeah.
Yep. I mean, it was so good. It was so like I went to theater. No spoilers. No spoilers. Okay. But the vibe, I was like, who produced this? Is this a new producer? Like, it just was so excellently executed. Like, it was just like I don't know. I don't want to spoil anything, but I was just like, wow. Like, when I walked away, and you got to stay for both the afters. Stay for both the afters. Come on, people.
Always stay for the afters.
There's 2 afters. Stay for both of them. Like,
the post credits are amazing. I will say this, Mike, without giving it away. My wife often falls asleep because, like, I like to take her to the movies with me, and she'll often fall asleep at the Marvel movies. And she was jumping, like she was so excited. So, if that says anything,
it's good.
That's good to know. My wife, we've watched all of the Marvel movies together.
I think it's worth a date night. It's worth a date night, Mike.
Totally.
You guys do date nights? You go out and you do the date nights? We do
Sometimes.
date lunches. We're weirdos, like, because the
Wow.
baby's at daycare, so it's like we have built-in
That
baby.
makes A little cheaper that way, right? My
Like, you
baby just
date
turned
baby.
13, so I'm a little further into
Oh.
it all. Our date night though kind of came to a head in COVID because we're both working from home full time now, and she's upstairs, I'm downstairs, and we still like
Yep.
call each other because we don't care to like meet in the middle for some reason. And it finally came to a head where my wife's like, "You work all the time now, whether it's on Coding Cat or for work," and I'm like, "I get it." And so we designated Thursday nights. I can't do anything but date nights, so we've locked that in now.
Nice.
That's a good
That's
idea.
nice. No, we have a shared office. We've been doing this for 6 years now, 5 years. He's right there. Say hello. You're live,
Well, he
darling.
can't see me, but that's okay.
Our desks face each other so that we don't cross each other's cameras. So it looks odd, but it's very functional. It's very well, but I love it. I honestly, there's a lot of people who are like, I could never work with my spouse. I'm like, you gotta try it. You gotta try it. I love it. I promote it. It's great. It's better than duck debugging. It's spouse debugging. Get over here and fix my code, right? Like, it's perfect.
I don't know if I could handle the healthcare side to my wife's work. That would not work out for me. Like, I don't need the latest COVID numbers, thanks. Like,
yeah, that would be stressful. We were promoting Kendo UI just dropped a release, and so we were promoting the bubble chart, and my coworker is like, the bubble chart gives me too anxiety. I'm like, it's cute little bubbles. She's like, that's not what I see. That's not what I see when I see bubbles on a map. I was like, oh right, COVID. Yeah, that's totally. I just thought they were cute bubbles, so I'm right there with you, man. Right? I just. Well, thank you so much, Alex. This was amazing. I appreciate
Absolutely.
it, and send me links. I'll get them in the description, and I think that's a wrap for this Friday.
for sure. Thanks for having me on. Love it.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you next week.